podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast. Before we jump in, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the show. It really helps us grow and keeps new episodes coming your way. Today we're diving into a topic that so many people struggle with: how to stay positive in a challenging world. And we promise this won't be the cheesy, fake positivity you see on posters. This is real, practical, grounded stuff.
Absolutely. Staying positive is something we all talk about, but few of us understand deeply. And the more you look into the science behind it, the more you realize positivity isn't some feel-good trick. It's actually a set of mental habits that shape the way you approach life. So in this episode, we want to break down what positivity really means, how it works, why it matters, and how you can build it in your own life.
Let's start with the first big point. When people hear the phrase stay positive, they often think it means ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. But real positivity is actually the opposite. It's about acknowledging reality, even when it's tough, and choosing the most constructive mindset to handle it. That's strength, not denial.
Right. One of the biggest misconceptions about positivity is that it's forced. Like putting on a smile even when you're hurting. But real positivity allows space for negative emotions. It doesn't reject them. It says, yeah, this is hard, but I'm capable, and I can make something out of this experience. That's resilience.
Exactly. There's a distinction between toxic positivity and healthy positivity. Toxic positivity says, don't be sad, don't be angry, just be happy. But healthy positivity says, feel the emotion, understand it, and then choose how to respond in a way that supports your well-being.
And when you look at the psychology research, you see that positivity has very practical effects. It helps your brain process information more clearly. It improves problem solving. It increases your ability to see opportunities. When people are anxious or negative, their thinking becomes narrow because the brain is in a survival mode. But positivity expands your perspective.
I love that idea. Expanded perspective. It means you start seeing options you didn't see before. You become more creative, you collaborate better, you handle setbacks more gracefully. In fact, positive emotions are shown to improve your physical health too. Things like better cardiovascular function, stronger immune response, and lower inflammation.
It's wild how connected the mind and body are. And here's the interesting thing. Positivity isn't about predicting a perfect future. It's about believing that your actions matter, that you can influence the outcome in some way. People who believe they have influence are more motivated. They actually take steps towards improvement. That alone increases their chances of success.
That's why optimistic people don't just hope, they act. And that action leads to better results, which then reinforces their optimism. It becomes a productive cycle. And the beautiful part is that anyone can build this mindset. Even if you're naturally a pessimist, you can train your brain toward more constructive thinking.
Let's talk about the tools that help with that. One big one is gratitude. Not the shallow kind where you list 3 things because someone told you to. I mean a deep, reflective gratitude that shifts your perspective. When you regularly acknowledge what is working in your life, you start balancing your mental attention. The brain naturally focuses more on threats. Gratitude reminds it to also notice the good.
There's a lot of research showing gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin, both of which influence your sense of well-being. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can practice gratitude by noticing something small, maybe the warmth of your drink, or the kindness of a friend, or even the fact that you're learning something new. Over time, this becomes a lens through which you interpret the world.
Another tool is reframing. Not denying the problem, but seeing it from a different angle. For example, instead of saying, I can't handle this, you might say, this is tough, but I've gone through hard things before. Or instead of saying, nothing ever works for me, you could say, things haven't worked yet, but I'm learning and improving. These subtle shifts change your internal dialogue.
Reframing doesn't change the situation, but it changes your relationship with the situation, and that changes the outcome. Another tool that people often overlook is environment. The people you talk to, the content you consume, the conversations you engage in, all of these either drain you or energize you. Staying positive is so much easier when you surround yourself with uplifting people.
Yes, sometimes positivity is less about internal change and more about external boundaries, limiting negative influences, reducing exposure to toxic discussions, taking breaks from overwhelming news cycles. These are all part of maintaining a healthy mental environment.
Let's also highlight something important. Staying positive doesn't mean staying upbeat all the time. It means staying grounded, hopeful, and engaged. It means believing in your ability to recover from challenges. Positivity is about direction, not perfection.
I love that. Direction, not perfection. And when you recognize that, staying positive becomes a process rather than a performance. It becomes something you work on little by little. You stop judging yourself for having bad days.
Speaking of bad days, let's talk about that. Many people feel like losing positivity means they failed somehow, but negativity, sadness, frustration, they're part of being human. The goal is not to eliminate them, but to not let them define your entire reality.
Exactly. Think of it like weather. Emotions move through you the same way weather moves across the sky. Some days are cloudy, some days are storms, but storms pass. Positivity is the umbrella you carry. It doesn't stop the rain, it helps you move through it.
Another part of staying positive is having meaning in your life. When you're connected to something meaningful, whether it's relationships, creativity, helping others, or working toward a goal, you become more resilient. Meaning gives you a sense of purpose that helps you stay grounded during difficulties.
And this is something many people underestimate. You don't need some grand mission. Meaning can come from small things done consistently. Doing something kind for someone, learning a new skill, working on yourself, caring for someone. These acts create emotional depth.
Exactly. And then there's self-compassion. A lot of positivity comes from the way you talk to yourself. Many of us speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to a friend. Learning to be kinder to yourself makes positivity sustainable.
Let's give an example. Imagine you made a mistake. A negative internal voice might say, "I always screw things up." But a self-compassionate voice might say, "That was a mistake, but it happens. I'm learning. I can do better next time." This softer approach keeps your emotional energy stable.
Another big thing is mindfulness. Many people live in the past or the future, which creates unnecessary stress. Mindfulness brings you back to the moment. When you're present, you can appreciate what you have, and you can respond instead of react. That alone increases positivity.
And it doesn't require meditation if that's not your thing. Mindfulness can be as simple as taking a deep breath, noticing your surroundings, or focusing on one thing at a time, just calming your system.
Speaking of calming the system, sleep, nutrition, and physical movement also play a huge role in positivity. It's not just psychological. If your body is exhausted or stressed, staying positive becomes much harder. Taking care of the basics gives your mind more capacity.
Let's talk about realistic strategies. If someone listening feels overwhelmed or stuck in negative thinking, what's one small thing they can do today to shift their mindset?
I would say start with one simple practice. Name one thing that is going well, one thing you're grateful for, and one thing you're looking forward to. It can be tiny. This creates a mental pattern of balance.
I like that. Mine would be to separate yourself from your thoughts. When a negative thought shows up, instead of saying, "I'm failing," say, "I'm having the thought that I'm failing." That little bit of distance gives you control.
That's a great tool. Another strategy is to reach out to someone. Social connection boosts positivity. Something as simple as a supportive conversation can shift your entire emotional state.
Also, take small steps. People often think positivity requires big life changes, but it's built from small, repeated actions. A short walk, a clean corner of your room, even drinking water. Positive momentum starts tiny and grows.
And lastly, remember that positivity is cyclical. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. The easier it becomes, the more natural it feels. and eventually it becomes part of who you are.
So true. Before we wrap up, Lisa, what's one message you want listeners to take with them?
I'd say this: positivity is a choice, but not a forced one. It is a gentle, intentional shift toward what gives you strength. You are capable of creating a more uplifting inner world no matter what your circumstances are. Start small, be patient, and trust the process.
Beautifully said. My message would be, you don't need to be perfect to be positive. You just need to keep moving toward hope, toward possibility, and toward compassion for others and for yourself.
Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the show. It really helps us grow and keeps new episodes coming your way. Until next time, stay grounded, stay hopeful, and remember that positivity is a journey. Take it one step at a time.